Good evening, welcome back to my channel. This is Chidima Favor. If you're the first time of coming across my channel, please like, share and comment. Please, your comments are so important. Subscribe to our channel, help us grow. Okay, in today's tutorial we're going to learn how to the easiest method to cut a pant or a trouser. You can still use this method to cut a trouser. Very easy. You will not have your trouser shifting to one side or battling with anything. Just very easy. Okay, I wanted to cut it on my fabric, but my fabric is a bit stretchy and you might not be able to see it very well. Here I'm just testing out different pens that will make it very okay for you to see it very clear. All right, so I begin with a starter line. That's all I call it, a starter line. The measurements you need for a pant is your waist circumference, from your waist to your hip depth. Then you need your hip circumference, your thighs, that's your lap, and the length of the trouser or the pants you're working with. Okay, these are the basic measurements you need, and the roundness of the new area of the client you're working with, or where she wants the pants to stop or the trouser to stop. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? If she wants it to be on her nail, you take the circumference of her nail, that's the roundness of her nail. If you want it to be trouser, is it flea trouser or official trouser, you take the roundness of that area. All right, if you still want me to upload a trouser tutorial, like full trouser tutorial, I will also do that. Please, if you have any video you want me to oblige, just send it on the comment section. As God will help us, I will do that. Here I started with a starter line, and from the other side, which is where my ruler is placed now, I assume there to be our center front or our center back. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I like to mark that line just to guide whatever I'm doing. So that place, okay, is the side. Okay, I always want to mark that out. All right, I will start with my vertical measurement. You remove 2 inches, which is for your waistband. Okay, for your waistband. Now you go down to your crouch measurements. How do you get your crouch measurements? All right, your hip divided by 4. Your hip divided by 4. Okay, I'm working with 11 inches. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Whatever is the hip depth of the hip circumference of your client, divide it by 4. All right, from that your crouch, you come up by at least 2.5 inch. You can see what I'm taking. Come up by 2.5 inch. Please always have that at the back of your mind from your crouch. And you said how you get your crouch is your client or your hip measurement divided by 4. All right, from there you come up by 2.5 inch. You can see I'm labeling it your crouch, your hip and your waist. Still bearing in mind of that 2 inches you removed, you go down to the length of the trouser you're working with. Okay, you go down to the length of the trouser you're working with. For me, my client says she wants her own to be 17. Okay, you mark your 17 and you add 2 inches for folding allowance, just to have a very neat hem. Okay, when you're taking the full length of your knicker or your trouser, always remember, please always remember to remove your 2 inches band allowance. If you are still watching up to this time, please help us subscribe, help us grow, like, and your comments are also very important to me. All right, this place I'm just trying to mark out the line, just trying to put everything so that you can clearly see the lines. All right, okay, if you have any question, please just drop it at the comment section. All right, coming to this crouch measurement, coming to the crouch measurement, okay, you will take the circumference of your thighs, that's your lap. All right, you take the circumference of your lap, all right, plus half an inch sewing allowance. Okay, for instance, after measuring your thighs is 30, your laps or your thighs, whatever you call it, is 30. You divide it by 2, the circumference of your thighs divided by 2, okay, which will be 15. Then you add half an inch stitching allowance, that will be 15.5. okay, you take the measurement from this straight line we've drawn across, that's our guide line. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Then after that, you go down to the same of your crouch, that your crouch measurement again. You take your hip measurements, all right, you take your hip measurement, you take it at the crouch line, you also take it at your hip line, and you also take it at your waist line. You remember what I said? You take your hip measurement. I'm working with the hip of 11, okay. After division, you see I will take it from my crouch, from my hip, and also from my waist, all right. Then you put a straight line. You can see what I did. I made a straight line. Now from that crouch line, from the line you already have, you can come up by half an inch. You can see what I wanted to do. But if you have a curve ruler like this, you can also make use of it just to have a very neat work. Okay, now you can see what I'm pointing. From this place to this place, you divide what you have, and that's your crouch measurements. You divide what you have. I have 14 divided by 2 will give me 7. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have 14 at my crouch line, that's from my thigh to the other end. I have 14 divided by 2, okay, will give me 7. Now from your crouch line to the hem, if you don't understand, you can see what I'm doing here. From your crouch line to the hem, just draw a straight line. Whether it's trouser, whether it's pants, just draw a straight line, okay. Now your crouch, this pants now is not up to her new area, is not up to her new area. So what I'm going to do is to subtract 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? 14 divided, you can see what I'm dividing, 14 divided by 2, okay, will give me 7. All right, to get that area, because it's not up to her new, what I want to do is 14 minus 2 inches. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because this pant is very short. You can see from the picture that it's very short. So I'm going to minus 14 minus 2 will give me 12. 12 divided by 2 will give me 6. I hope you are not confused. Remember, the thighs we are working with is 14, okay. 14 minus 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. That is what I'm marking at the hem line, okay, because she doesn't want it to be too tight. And again, like I said, it's not up to her knee. Please, if your client knicker or pant is up to her knee area, please take the circumference of her knee, all right. From there, I draw it to her thigh measurement, which is her crouch area. Then from her crouch area, from the other side, you can see I connected it to the guideline we have. That I always want to have that line, okay. Now we'll go over to the waist. Whatever your client's waist is, you divide it by 4, okay. You divide it by 4. Mine is 8.5, then plus 1 inch that intake. You can notice that I've not added any allowance to all I'm doing, all right. Just follow me as we go. You add 1 inch for that intake. Then with your curve rule or your hip curve, just connect it down to your hip line. You can see what I'm doing. If you don't understand, just look at what I'm doing. You can see how, you can see that it's already good on its own. You can see how beautiful it's looking already, okay. I'm just trying to mark out that line very well so you can see it. You can see how beautiful the trouser is already looking. You can see this is the front. With this method, you will never have issue with sewing trouser, you can never have issue. In short, you can be sleeping safe, you draw it. Please, if you are still watching up to this level, please help us subscribe and like. Now at that center front, in order not for you to have budginess at that area, you come down by 1.5 inch. Come down by 1.5 inch. Please, when you are cutting now, don't cut it. You will see when I'm going to cut it. I will show you when you are to cut it. Just connect it back to your waistline. You can see what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you can see what I'm doing. Please, I'm still a beginner. Just put your comments and I will oblige to it. I'll answer all your questions. Now you see, I did not add any allowance. You notice that I did not add any sewing allowance. Okay, all right, we'll just cut it off. You can also see that that's 1.5 inches I came down with. I did not touch it. I will show you the right time to cut it. Okay, like I said, if your client knicker, if she wants it to be up to her knee, okay, take this is just like a bum shot, or what will I call it, or just a bit longer than bum shot. Okay, what I'm working here is like about 17 inches long. Okay, what she wants it, she doesn't want it up to her knee, so to get that area, just minus 2 inches. But if it will be up to your client knee, maybe you are sewing trouser, please take the circumference of her knee. It's very important. All right, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting out all the lines that are not useful. Okay, you can see how it's looking. All right, and you can see that the trouser is so short. All right, get a fresh paper that is way bigger than what you have already. Okay, just get a fresh paper that has, at least that will be a bit, at least 3 inches wider. Okay, I'm trying to secure it so it won't move, and for you to also see everything we're going to do. All right, if you use this method, please just send me how it looks. I promise you, it's so easy. You will not even have your clients complain of is shifting, is not shifting. Everything will just be on the right spot. It's a promise. You will love it. If you're having issue with trousers, crouch, this is the best method. Okay, I'm just trying to extend the line, my hip line, my crouch line, my hem line. Okay, I'm just trying to extend all the lines, all the lines. All right, this is your waist, your hip, your crouch, and the hem line. Okay, I just labeled it for you to see it properly. All right, let's go. On your crouch area, you are to add 2.5 inches sewing allowance. You see what I'm showing you? 2.5 inches sewing allowance on your crouch. Then on your hem, you can see it on your hem line, you add 2 inches sewing allowance. On your crouch, you have to add 2.5. On your length of your trouser, you add 2. Okay, on your waist, you add 2, so that when we have put all the measurements, you end up having 3 inches. Now from your waistline, come up by 1 inch. Just come up by 1 inch. Okay, then you connect the lines. If you don't understand, see what I'm doing. I'm connecting the lines I've marked so that you will just understand it as we move forward. Okay, I just want you to understand what we are doing. All right, I'll just connect my crouch to my waist. You can use your free hand, like I said. If you don't have this curve ruler, please use your free hand. Just be free to use what you have. Okay, all right, you can see what we have done. Now we are going over to the waist. Your waist measurement, you are to take it from the other end, not from the middle. You know, the other one we took it from the crouch area, but now you are going to take it from the other end. You take your exact, do you understand what I'm saying? Your exact waist measurement. Do you understand what I'm doing? From the, you can see the area I'm pointing. Now you put your exact waist measurement. I've drawn the line, so you see I'm working with 8.75. You can see what we have here: 3 inches sewing allowance. So you need 3 inches sewing allowance. All right, once you just input your waist measurement, go out by 3.5 inches allowance to accommodate the butt. All right, to accommodate the butt very, very well. Then you connect it back, directly back from that 1 inch you came up with. Connect it directly to the waistline. Chikina, is so easy, so simple. With this method, you will never ever have any issue. All right, there's what I do after all the drawings and all the markings and everything. There is how I calculate to be sure that I've done the right thing. Okay, do you understand? There's a particular mass I use to be sure that I've gotten all I want. I'm just labeling it. All right, now this is the measurement. You go down to your hip line. Okay, you go down to your hip line. You know we are cutting 2 pieces. Now I have 11. Okay, you can see it. My first hip line measurement, I have 11. All right, I have 11. Don't mind me, I'm not a good mathematician. I have 11. Then 11 times 2 is 22. All right, for the back area of the hip, I have about 14. 14 times 2, don't mind your sister says 18. All right, 14 times 2 is about 28. All right, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times you can see I'm trying to get the mass. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2, not 1. Okay, I had to grab my phone to make sure I'm not making any mistake. All right, so you can see I'm trying to be sure. Please take your time. Measure your hip area, not your crouch. Your hip area, where your hip measurements stop. Okay, all right, that's what I'm trying to do. 14 times 2, you can see what I'm doing. I have 28. So I'll correct it now. Please, when you're doing yours, if you are a wonderful mathematician like me, please just kindly make use of your phone. All right, I will add what I have: 22 plus 28. You can see I have 50 minus your client's hip measurement. Our hip measurement is 43. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, I'm trying to write it. 50, what minus 43? That is to say 22 plus 28 is 50. All right, then minus your client hip or your hip, I have 7. If you have anything less than 5, it's not going to work. Okay, if you have anything less than 5, it's not going to work. What you will do is just go down to that crouch area, the crouch side. Instead of curving it the way I curve it, just bring it out a bit. You understand what I'm saying? Just bring it out a bit. Please, if you are confused, just tell me. Okay, I'm going to answer all your questions. Just put it on the comment section. I'll answer all your questions. And if you need another tutorial, maybe trouser or another pants tutorial on this, by the special grace of God, I'm going to oblige your request by God's grace. Okay, this is the easiest method. With this method, you will never have issue of my trouser is shifting, my pants is shifting, madam, this thing is one side, or madam, this thing is shifting once. You never have any of those issues. It's the easiest, the fastest method for beginners, especially for beginners. If you're a beginner and you want to learn how to cut trouser, my sister, with this method, my brother, with this method, you will never have any issue at all, I promise you. Okay, at this point I'm just trying to cut off the back excesses. All right, after that I'm going to detach it and cut it directly on my fabric. You can see my fabric, I folded it, but it's a little bit bouncy, so it wasn't giving me what it should give. I decided to use my paper here. I don't want to waste material. I'm just trying to check the one that will be okay. All right, I'm just trying to check the one that will be okay, so I won't have to waste the fabric. Just trying to refold and cut it. All right, you can see I'm trying to adjust the fabric just to cut it. Okay, you can see. Thank you so much. Please, if you are still watching up to this time, please help us subscribe, like, and drop your comments. Help us grow. Okay, thank you so much. I'm not taking this for granted. I appreciate your comments, your like, your view. All this are so important to me. Thank you. I'm just trying to secure it with a pin. Please, it's important you work with your pin. It makes your work neat and easy. You won't have to be struggling with your fabric. All right, thank you so much. I am super grateful. All right, so just trace what you have. Just trace out what you have on your pattern paper. You are safe. Just trace it out. No, you don't need to add any allowance, because all the allowances we need have already been added. All right, you can see how I'm cutting. For beginners, please, when you are cutting, be careful. All right, just be careful. That's why I'm cutting on camera, so you'll be able to understand it perfectly well. All right, please. And when you are cutting, please don't drag your fabric. Just gently hold it and cut off, so that you won't have a rough ends. All right, remember that this is the front bodies. These front bodies have pockets. Okay, if you also want to know how I join the pieces together, how I cut the pockets, just put it on the comment section and I will upload the video of how I was able to cut the pocket and put the pieces together. Okay, it came out so beautiful and my client was happy. Okay, I've cut out the back bodies. All right, you can see it's 2-piece. All right, thank you so much. I do really appreciate. I'm not really taking this for granted. Now at this point, you can remove that 1.5 inch you came down with, so that your clothes, your trouser will not have budginess at the front part. You can see what I'm doing. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.